Hello, hello, hello. All right. Let's see. Live. Are we live? Connected to the internet. I am connected to the internet. You try. Maybe I'm not connected to the internet. A weak internet signal currently. Pop in. 7:30. Surely. I think once I get there, that's all I really need. Make sure or so. So we'll be down there. We'll be hanging out with everybody. If you are for those guys, but there's also tons of makers that I follow on Instagram and that I've known for a long time, you know, through social media, commented back and forth with, but never had a chance to meet. So that'll be really cool. Morning at 10 for early bird special and 11. So if you're around the Atlanta, we'll be there. So maybe that'll change your mind. All right, give me 1 second. All right, internet, trying to get a little bit. Okay, looks like it. We'll just take her out. Hello, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to move you without without collapsing the tripod. But I gotta collapse it a little bit. There we go. All right, nice computer. All right, we're going together. We're going outside in this beautiful summer, almost summer, spring evening here in Baltimore. Maybe I'll move us around and hang out in the smithy where I have better connection. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. All right, still not good. How's the audio? My audio is on, I think. I can myself. It looks like I have good audio. Get these bikes out of the smithy. Still not good. Looks better. Better. All right. I'm hoping the audio is good. Because it should be. So I got the mic on. Make a little room in the smithy. All right. Audio is great. Picture's good. All right. That's fine. So maybe we'll just hang out and I was planning on showing some axes and going through some of my collection, but really, all right. But if we can't be down in the shop, it's gonna be a lot tricky to do axes. So we'll just do this. All right, here we go. 5x5. It's better. All right, there we go. 7 people. All right, so we got Matt Schaefer, Joseph Riley. Joseph Riley, you'll be there. Cool. Jonathan Jackson. Nah, I'm not worried about it. We can edit it maybe. All right, so new stream. That's all right. I think I can edit it afterward, but I'm okay. I don't mind. So, yeah, we're heading down to Blade tomorrow. We talked about that already. Redbeard and Little Mountain Power Saws. Hello, hello. So we're just hanging out a little bit. Just wanted to pop in and see what's up with everybody. Chat a little bit about Blade Show because we're going to be heading down in the morning. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. First time going to Blade Show. Um, I'm really excited about seeing some really good knife makers. So that'll be really fun. And yeah, we'll see. I'm like, I've been making knives and have, you know, have been around the knife making community probably since like 2000 and let's say 2002, 2003, something like that. I started making knives. At the time, I was looking on like Bushcraft Forum and looking at knives there, and really started to kind of get interested in bushcraft knives. That's what made me want to start making knives. Was you know, I think really just wanting to go backpacking and wanting to have a good knife, and I had like a kind of cheap, um, corner store knife, if you want to call it that. It wasn't great, and so I wanted a better fixed blade, and so I started looking around, looking on knife forums, and looking at like, who was making nice custom knives, and I couldn't really find one that I liked that was within my price range at the time. I was in college, and so I was like, well, let me start making. I'll see if I can make a knife. So I searched online like how to make a knife, and really just looked for whatever kind of tutorials and how-to stuff was that I could do. So I was like, ended up looking around, and I found a video by Green Pete. I don't even know if Green Pete's still around. I haven't looked for him much, but I think it was on some other video platform. It wasn't YouTube. It was something else, and it was like a 4 or 5 part series on making a bushcraft knife from a file, which was really cool. So, and he went through the whole process of like making a fire and annealing the blade in a nice hot fire for a couple hours, and then he after that he like then shaped it, used an angle grinder and a file guide with, filing jig and stuff to shape it and to drill out the holes. He had like a battery out like in the woods and doing all this stuff. Any like, power tools, he just plugged into an external battery. And so, he like did that whole thing and then put a handle on and made a really cool knife that was simple but really functional. And that's kind of always been my aesthetic, simple, but the craftsmanship is good and it's functional. So there were a few years there where I was doing other stuff. So I saw his video, and I didn't actually attempt any like heat treating of blades at that point, but I, looking up other online how-tos. And so I ended up finding kind of some tutorials about making blades from circular saws. So that was like, okay, well, I can do that. Because the key point of that is that a circular saw blade is already heat treated to a certain hardness because it's already designed and it's heat treated and tempered to be hard and stay sharp. And more modern saw blades have carbide tips or different like tips of the actual saw blade that are sharp. Just really sweet. Picking up Black Raven from Roy, nice, right on. But older blades were hardened all the way through because it was like the material was the steel, the higher carbon steel. So I got some old saw blades and started cutting them up and making knives that way. And it worked really well, and I was super happy with it, and it was something I could do that was relatively easy, and I could focus on design, and if I liked one and I used it for a little while and it wasn't exactly what I wanted, and so I would like make another one and change some designs, change some things, and kind of kept on working at it. My early knives were like really rounded, always like drop point, which I still love a drop point. Although like now I usually tend to do like a straighter spine, more of like a Puko style is my aesthetic. But shorter handles, I guess that's kind of like a learning thing. Like how do you have a handle that fits well? And they were always rounded. And so like over the years, my aesthetic has changed a little bit, and just understanding what makes a good knife has changed. So my design has changed and things, and then also the more people I looked at, the more things I learned about. I just kind of kept on making knives and making them better. And then got into heat treating, and our very first video ever on YouTube back in 2017, February, was making a bushcraft knife for my wife. And that one turned out really good, and that I followed basically Green Pete's recipe for his video. So yeah, so that was like kind of how I got into knife making, and ever since that, you know, I just kind of kept on building on what I had and building on tools. And you know, a lot of people will comment over the years like they really like the older tools or they like the newer tools. And so, you know, it's just like as you become more invested in a hobby, which I've become invested in knives over the years, you get better and better tools. So I've kind of done that, and now, you know, up to the point where now making a knife, it's not, it doesn't take all that long anymore because I have everything I really need. I still heat treat out of the forge here in the smithy, which works fine for me, and it's not an exact science. But you know, I'm still making knives as a hobby. It's not a full-time gig or something like that where I would want to be really accurate with my heat treat. But you know, I can do a really good heat treat out of the forge. I've had really good success, have really hard blades. Files, they skate files, and then I can temper them and they come back, and then, you know, so without actually testing for hardness or having like really consistent, but I'm using, you know, more simple steels like 1084, 80 CRV2, you know, 1095, 01, things like that, you know, you can kind of rely on. They're fairly easy process, and they have a lot of tolerance in their kind of how long to heat it, you know, where to hit to. So, you know, I just kind of focus, if I'm going to make a blade for someone that I'm giving to someone else, I'll typically use a simple steel that I know will heat treat well. So really excited to you know, from all this inspiration that I pulled over the years from all these people and people that I've met through YouTube and through Instagram, and people that I've followed, and people who recommended me to follow other people, people who we have inspired over the years to start knife making and then have taken that further. It's just a really cool community of people, and I'm really excited to go. You know, I absolutely love Maker Camp, and I'm excited to go to Blade and check it out and see how it is. And kind of like, you know, the Maker community is small in the grand scheme of things, but then the blade making community is like even smaller. It's a niche of the Maker community. So you get this like, you know, even narrowed down to, you know, where we get to a point where now you have all these people that are very focused. And so I'm really excited to see you. Devin and I have kind of a running bet on how many people might recognize us from the channel, people we haven't met before. And, you know, we'll see. So if you see us at Maker Camp, or I'm sorry, if you see us at Blade Show and you're there, you know, flag us down. I'd love to say hi and meet people and just chat and, you know, be a greater part of the community. I'm really excited, and I know Devin's going to miss Maker Camp this year, so he's really excited to go. He's here in the chat. So yeah, so we're heading down tomorrow morning. We're going to leave. It's Thursday night right now. We're going to leave in the morning. We're going to head down. I'm going to go pick up Devin, and then it'll take us about 10 or 11 hours to get down to Atlanta. We're driving. So we'll be on the road pretty early, about 6:30, and we'll head over to 81 and head straight down 81. It'll take us all the way down to Atlanta, and then we'll get there hopefully mid-afternoon or so. We'll see how the traffic goes. I'd love to try to hustle down there and get there and be able to, you know, get there, get to our hotel, have dinner, and then head over to the pit in the Cobb Galleria and meet some people and hang out and have like a good party and a good, you know, kind of hang out with everybody on Friday night. And then we'll be there all day Saturday. So we'll be walking around, checking out knives. I am really excited about all the knife making supplies that'll be there. So, you know, different tools and materials and like handle material and stock material and, you know, all sorts of stuff. I'm excited about that. You know, as a knife maker, I'm really excited to see and get inspiration from other knives. I can't afford to buy knives because I'm a hobby knife maker, you know, but we'll see. Maybe I'll find something that I really like. And if the price is right, you know, maybe I'll buy it. But as a knife maker, you know, I tend to get inspiration, and then if there's something that I really like that I want for myself, you know, then of course like the idea to support other makers, but really like, you know, I'll pull all that inspiration and then make something that fits what I want to, you know, what I want. There's a few things that I have kind of looked at over the years, and so I might be keeping my eye out for that, like um, the not that this will be there, but something like the Spyderco folding Puko knife. It's like a beautiful, beautiful design, and they don't sell them anymore, and you can buy them online, but they're always like $400 or $500, and I can't afford to buy a $400 or $500 knife. So, you know, I want to make my own, so that's one of the things that I'm really interested in making. So I'd love to like look for something like that, and you know, if I can find something for a good deal or something that has like a really cool design, maybe I'll get some inspiration for that. I have a piece of Damascus that a follower sent me. I can't remember his name. His first name's Andrew. I can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but he he was really generous and sent me a piece of Damascus, and so I'm excited to use that. I think that'll work really well for a folding Puko, so a Damascus folding Puko. So I'm thinking I'll probably, if I do like a liner lock or something like that, or I'm not exactly sure if I just want to do, you know, just a friction folder, but I'm thinking I could maybe buy some of the hardware from like a knife making supply place for the hardware, you know, for the liner locking material, and then I just shape and make the blade, and then obviously add on whatever scales I want on the outside. So that's kind of one of my goals, and that's one of the things I think would be kind of cool to look for and get some inspiration from, because I make fixed blades, but I don't have a lot of knowledge in folders. I made one folder, and that was probably 7 or 8 years ago. That one turned out pretty good. It was actually like that was back when I was doing my doing the circular saw blade knives, and so I cut out the blade shape, which actually worked pretty well because it was, you know, pretty thin. It's like probably like 3/32, something like that, so a little bit less than an eighth. And I used a antler tine, so you get like this nice bend in it, and it worked perfectly. So I had like a brass or maybe a stainless steel pivot pin, and then I had some brass washers, and I peened it over, and it was really nice, like really simple. And I gave it to a buddy of mine that I worked with at the time. I'd like to see that again. That was a cool knife. So I'm excited. So that'll happen at some point, and I'm excited to get down there to Blade Show and check out some of the folders that are out there and some of the different ways that they're done, and then also the ways that people are innovating on how to do folders. It's kind of something that I've been interested in, and we'll see how it goes. All right, here we got. Let's see. Matt Schaefer. Yep. The Instagram handle. All right, that's full of good knowledge. Joseph Riley. Got me started with the Collins Legitimus axe restoration. Whew, nice. Man, that's such a beautiful axe, and I actually have another. I have a unmarked Connie Connecticut pattern axe with like almost exactly the same handle and same exact head that's unmarked that I picked up in Vermont. And it's like exactly the same handle and head as Legitimus, but unmarked. And that's not super uncommon that there are companies that would make axe heads. Now typically, like, Collins isn't making axe heads for other people all that often. They did different, they would manufacture, but it's, as far as I can tell, it's literally the exact same design. So either like someone took the same design and copied it, but it's definitely still an old axe head, so that's kind of cool. But I love that one. I actually just recently, and not, sometime within the last 6 or 8 months, broke that handle that the Legitimus was rehung on in that video. Ryan's got stuff. Bark River Bravo 1.5, so I'm going to get the Bravo 3. All right, Ryan's going to be there. Nice. Let's see, anybody else? Ryan's got stuff. What steel do you use? I think I talked about that. First, Ashbow. Nice. Awesome. Eric Anderson. Eric, I'm going to be doing some demos up at Maker Camp this year in October on bow making. So if you're in the area, or if you're somewhere in the Northeast and want to make it up there, I'll be there doing some bow making demos, which is really cool. I love bow making. started it when I was, I guess, right out of grad school and living with Devin, and got interested. And my wife found a local place that was doing a bow making class. So Devin and I and our friend Sean, and our brothers Derek and Drew, we all took the class together, and just like absolutely loved it. And I've kept doing it ever since. But I need to get some more stuff going for bow making. What are we taking to blade? Nothing. I'm gonna bring the Journey knife because that's like my design, the design that that's kind of the culmination of a lot of different design ideas I've had over the years, and I've kind of done different stuff and gotten to the point where I had a design that I thought was actually really good for like blade length and handle shape, and bevel grind, and then also the bevels on the handle. Like I've been drawn to beveled handles rather than like rounded and shaped handles. So that's the one I'm gonna definitely bring. I'll just be wearing that one on my hip, and just to show to people, that's like, and I use that one all the time. I take it camping, I take it backpacking. Go ahead, go ahead. So I'm excited to bring that one along. That has the handle scales were given to me by Brian House. He did some stabilizing in his shop, and so he sent those to me. So that has his curly maple, black dyed curly maple handles. So that'll come along with my sheath. Let's see. Black Raven from Vermont. Did you find that Black Raven? It's crazy. I have the knife from the Build Along series. Yeah, Devin could bring the Build Along series knives. I mean, I have a whole bunch of knives that I have here at the shop and at the house that are still, my knives. I'm not going to be carrying a bunch of knives. I don't really need to. People can see the videos, but I do want to bring the Journey knife because that's the one that I have plans to. I have steel down in the shop that's drawn out to make, I think, 8 or 10 more Journey knives. And since that's the one that I'm like kind of the most passionate about and I use the most, and I really like to like make more of it and get it out into the hands of people, I'm going to try to do that this summer. I keep saying I'm going to try to do it, but I really think I'm going to try to do it this summer. So I'll bring that along to show that off and see if I can drum up some interest. We'll see. There's a build along. There was a build along. So Devin, we did the Knife Talk Build Along video series maybe 2 years ago, where on Knife Talk podcast they were doing each week, they were talking about another part of knife making, and then each week the viewers would follow, or listeners would follow along. So when I heard they were going to do it, I was like, all right, well, let's do a video each week. So I'd listen to Knife Talk on Monday, and they'd say, okay, this week we're going to do profiling, right? You're going to cut out the shape of your blade. Working with Knife Print, which is a really cool company. So, I took Craig Lockwood's design and I made some changes to it, which I thought, I liked it a little different. So I made a few little changes, not much. And then that, so each week we followed along. We did profiling one week, we did, bevel grinding one week, we did heat treating, we did handle, attachment, all that stuff. So all the different parts of knife making. So each week we would shoot for a couple days and then edit and have it out by the weekend. So that way, if people were listening to Knife Talk and then, on Monday, and then by the weekend they had a couple days to work in their shop, they could watch our video and do it. So that was a Build Along series. Carolina Wren. Oh yeah, you hear that? Matt Vandering, what's up? All right, so what do we got? 27 minutes. I know if you guys have jumped in from the beginning, it was kind of rough in the beginning because I was down in the shop and my connection's not great down there, but I wanted to, I was hoping to be able to show some axes and stuff and just pull some axes down because I recently made a new axe, and so I was going to pull all the axes off of my kind of completed axe shelf and then just go through them and show you guys my collection of all those completed axes that are there, as well as maybe pull some of my axes up from my incomplete axes, which is a bunch of, a bunch of heads, a bunch of handles. I have got a bunch of axes recently, so always collecting. Still planning on building a boat. No. Oh, let's see. My plan was, I don't know, did I ever talk about building a boat? I have a boat. I have a sailboat, and I did a lot of work on it when we first got it, especially down in the keel, so down at the bottom of the boat. There was some cracks in just the gel coat between the hull of the boat, the bottom, and the keel of the sailboat. So I did a bunch of work on that. I can show you guys the axe I just finished recently. So I'll go grab that, bring that back up, and maybe I'll grab a few. I'll actually show, was it Joseph Riley said, I can show you that axe that I was talking about. Maybe first ash bow. Okay, let me go check that out. I'll be right back. You guys might be able to still hear me. If not, then I'll be back in just a hair. Let's see. Nope. 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 All right. Well, I didn't find them all. Who else in the chat? Going to bleed. Commander. All right. So I'll show you guys a couple axes. All right. Let's see. So this is the axe I just finished the other day. So my dad was up in PA. He lives up in PA, and he was, I think, working, running some errands, and he, you know, maybe riding around with some people, and stopped and picked up a couple axes and some tools from a guy. $30 for a whole bunch of things. It's always the best. So I grabbed one of them. This is just an unmarked 3.2, but it's a nice. It's got some like older, you know, older style bevels, kind of cut in, straight down and out. So, you know, it looks a little bit older to me. It's hard to tell for sure, but has a nice profile. It was a little bit, had a little bit of a toe jam, which means that the toe was back. Where, you know, typically as you use axes over the years, you chop with them, and if you miss, you hit the ground with the toe, and it'll slowly chip and wear it away. And so you grind and get a better grind on the toe, and then what happens is it brings it back. So then you get this uneven blade. So I reprofiled it. I probably took off about maybe a half an inch or so at the bottom to bring it back to, you know, a better profile. So just finished that one. Put it on a house handle with a Whiskey River black walnut wedge. This one came out really nice. A lot of good compression on that wedge in the middle. You can really see it stuck in there. So, and it is super, super sharp. I reprofiled it pretty good because once I reprofiled it this way, I had a pretty wide edge. So it took me a decent amount of time to get this back down to really nice convex grind. And I took it out and was cleaning up some pine, so pretty soft, but I just like one swipe and it went straight through like a 3.5 inch diameter branch. That was fun. All right, let's see. I wish. Flying Fox. It's around somewhere down here. This is the axe. This is the Collins Legitimus Connecticut pattern that I remade, rehung on this handle. And man, that is still nice and sharp. And I broke it recently, so I don't know if you can see that in the middle.